Hi, my name is Kevin McDonald, and I'm declaring my independence. Independence from what? Why, negative thoughts and energy, of course. Chief among them, hate, division, and fear. You see, I know that we're all one, and together we can solve any problem, save our planet and each other. Please, join me as we come together as one and choose a better way to be. So now, let's begin with my independence report. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday at noon. That means, of course, it is Conversations with Coryelle, and she is right. She's right there. How are you, my dear? Don't worry. I promise not to breathe on you. I'm fine. So
I'm good.
You're good. You're always good. It's all, and I tell you, Tuesdays are one of my favorite days of the week.
Well, thank you.
I get to spend time with you every day or every Tuesday, and I learn so much. Today's going to be no exception. We've got a really good show for you because Coryelle, who is, I don't even know what to call you anymore. What do I call you? Because I used to call you an animal communicator, but you're more than that. I used to call you a psychic, and you're more than that. You're more than all. What are you going to call yourself these days?
It's hard because I have to separate out the people from the animals because we don't want people getting weird by, the fact that I work with people and their sexuality. And so, yeah, I'm still working on it. But for right now, I like passion cultivator because passion is about all different kinds of things. It doesn't have to be about sex. And then animal communication expert, I guess. For right now, that's what I'm doing. Maybe somebody's got an idea of how to meld it together because I have not found it yet. So shoot me an email or shoot me a Facebook comment or Facebook message and let me know. And give me some ideas. Also give me ideas on the show. If you have topics you want us to address, send them to me. If there's something you want me to talk about, send them to me, please.
If you're listening right now and you're or watching more so, there is a comment section that is right above there. It's on the right hand side of your screen, and what you need to do is just leave a comment, and I'll put it up for Coryelle. And if it's a question for her, if it's a comment, if it's something that you'd like to see us do, we are always interested in what you have to say, because this show is actually about you guys and what you guys do and what you want to be, and we want to help you achieve those goals. And my job is to bring people like that onto the show. So that's how do you feel like being addressed as that? Isn't that fun?
Better than it. It's on the show.
Cousin It. He died recently. I was so sad to hear that Cousin It died. Do you know who that is?
I love the Addams Family. I'm obsessed with them since I was a kid.
Yeah, and
I wanted to live in that house. I wanted to be part of that. I loved that house. I loved that house. But then again, I was a weird kid. So.
Oh, and Kayla says we are like Dr. Doolittle. Laugh out loud. But I still haven't found a name for myself either. So I know
tough. It's tough.
It's hard, but because you do so much more.
Yeah, and animal communicator is fine. It's fine for right now. But I started also talking, calling myself a speaker for animals or a speaker with animals. I like that too, because that talks more about what I do. I speak with them. The communication is okay, but it's a very animal communication is a very like 90s kind of like word. We got to bring it to the next level. So I'm still looking.
Well, you're an animal conversationalist because you have an actual conversation with them back and forth.
That's a possibility.
So it works out really quite well. And I don't know if we should talk about your latest download or not. No, I'll leave that up to you.
I think we're going to do a future show on it because I think it's extremely exciting. And I like Speaker for Animals too, but somebody's told me don't maybe not use that because nobody's searching for Speaker for Animals. They're searching on the web. They're searching for animal communication or animal communicator. And I'm like, okay, but I'll see. Maybe I'll change it back. But thanks, Kayla. Appreciate it. Yeah, there's new stuff happening all the time. It feels like every single time I close my eyes, I get another download. So
every time I talk to you, it's like, guess what?
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It is. We're gonna do more about it. Hopefully, if this turns out the way that I'm hoping it will. But I was gifted the opportunity of working with a woman's son, 5-year-old son, who is possibly ADHD, possibly autistic, and working with him and his mom to find his dynamics. And the dynamics that I do with animals, I'm going to be applying to this little boy because he's 5 years old. So it's like the perfect time. And I don't know, I keep getting this massive information of that this could possibly be a treatment for ADHD and autism. And if that happens, my mind, I really truly believe my mind is going to explode because that's so big. I can't even wrap my mind around that. I can't even wrap my mind around that even just a little bit. It's just so expansive. So I'm really super excited. She's super excited. The little boy, I'm hoping he's going to be super excited because I'm going to make it fun for everybody. But I don't know. This is being able to have this kind of opportunity is huge, and I'm really humbled by it. So
it gives you the opportunity to really help not only this 5-year-old boy, but humanity in general, because there are so many people that are on what they call, it is so bad now that they call, I think he's on the spectrum. It's such a large contingent of people that are that are faced with this, and that it's a whole lifetime deal, that if you can help them even 20%, it's much better than them being there alone. And I suspect that what's going to end up happening is that you're going to help them a whole lot more. And if nothing else, you'll be able to give him tools that he'll be able to use his entire life to make this a better deal.
I hope so. That's the plan. I'm gonna do it like I do with every session with an animal. I'm just gonna give the information, get the information, customize the information for that being, and let go of the results and let it unfold how it's going to unfold.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when you delve into the shadow side on what is there and why it's there, and if removing that or getting it to move can change in a big way.
Yeah, the shadow healing. So that's the first session that we're going to do. Is I'm going to do shadow work on the boy and see if he's got any shadows, realign his chakras, and then heal the body with the light energy that I work with. So I don't know, man. I'm
Well, sadly, it's going to be a few weeks before we start getting any, as well, like a month before we get any feedback from you. But you'll just stay tuned to this channel, to Conversations with Coryelle, because we will be continuing that and give you updates as to what's happening there, like we do with the animals that she works with, and some of the ones that she's had success has just been phenomenal. But we're going to talk about something else today. I just wanted to get that out there. By the way, CoryelleKramer.com if you want to find out more information about her and go talk to her. And it's interesting. Can I brag a little bit? I got to brag.
Go for it. I love bragging.
It's not in me to brag, but I'm gonna brag. I met Coryelle about 16 months ago now,
Yeah.
and she was on my show, and we had a wonderful time. And then she said, "Well, I'm gonna be gone for a while," and so I patiently waited for her to come back. And I talked to her, and she was at that time working at Home Depot, and she was doing this, and I
In the
and
garden department. We need to know that because the rest of it can be a real shit show. So
exactly.
at least I was with the butterflies and the birds. Thank God.
And so I said, our mission is to get you out of Home Depot by the end of the month. And she was out of Home Depot by the end of the month. And then her work started to just blossom and continued and to grow. And I said, well, the next step is you're going to have a waiting list. And she now has a waiting list. And so the next thing is for you to take somebody into your wing who you're going to train how to do this. And she's got somebody that she's taking under her wing to do how to do. So I'm just so thrilled for you. And I'm more so thrilled for the people you're working with because you're helping people. And that's the important part.
Yeah, it's really incredible what's been going on, and we're going to do another series on animal dynamics because those have changed and shifted,
Yes.
including me finding another download, including me finding a sixth. There's 5 archetypes. There used to be 5, and now I found the 6th one. So I don't know. I'm just excited. I mean, I took a shower before the show and I was just singing in the shower. I'm just so happy. I'm so happy at where this work is going and how it's unfolding, and the possibilities are just incredible. So
They're endless.
yeah, they are.
They really are.
They are.
And I'm so proud of you. I got to tell you. And that's why I'm so glad that we do this every Tuesday at noon. So tell your friends, tell people you don't like that much because she'll be able to help them as well. What the hell?
It's not the ass hats. I don't need the ass hats on the show.
No, not
that energy up.
exactly. So now to tell us what we're going to talk about today.
Well, last week I talked about how to move energy, why it's important to move energy. So I got into a lot of the whys. This week I decided that I gave you whys, but I really didn't give you the hows. So there's a lot of ways to clear your space. So that's what this is going to be on. The show is going to be on different space cleaning tips or space clearing tips. Because just like you clean your house with a vacuum and a broom, you need to make sure that you cleanse your house energetically. Because if you don't, it can cause issues. It could cause issues with you. It can, it can bring up strong, if you got ooky energy in your house, it could bring up rage and anger and jealousy and fear and, worry and all this kind of stuff. It messes with your sleeping. And it could also affect your animals too. I've had animals that, after I told somebody to clear their space, their animals started shifting immediately. So it's a really important thing. And I don't think people do it enough. And you need to do it. Yes, sickness and anger, all this kind of stuff. If you're dealing with all this stuff, grief and all this stuff, and with what was going on with the pandemic, there was all this massive fear of the unknown and am I going to get sick? And you got to make sure that the space you're in feels good to you. That should be a priority because that's where you are. Just like you got to take care of yourself because you're with you 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Well, 366 during the leap year. You got to make sure that you're feeling good in here, because if you're not, you're with you so long, it would be like being with somebody who drives you crazy all the time. So you make sure the energy here is good. You make sure the energy around you is good. It's super, super important to cleanse your space. So how do you do that? There's a lot of ways. There is the most well-known is something called sage. Now, I use a special kind of sage because the sage that you usually find in the metaphysical stores, there's nothing wrong with it. That's white sage. It's got a very, very strong smell to it. It's almost acidic smelling to me. So I don't like it. I don't like the way the smoke feels. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's a very heavy feeling smoke to me.
Oh, it's very heavy. It's one of those that you put it over your head kind of thing when you and stuff, and it kind of stays there and it stays around you. It's real heavy.
Yeah. And so I'm not crazy about that. The sage that I use is found on a site that I have been buying it from for years, and it's called knockbay.com. So NOCBAY.com. And I put the links in, and I'll put the links in the shows when the show is done. I'll put the links for those places. But they have all different kinds of herbals. They have the sage, and the sage that I use comes in a bundle like this, and it's called Northern Plains Traditional Sage. Now, what this is you can't do this with white sage. So it's very pliable, very soft. Okay. And what you can do is you can take the leaves, you just take it off the stem, and you can roll it up and into a ball. And then the important thing when you burn anything is to make sure that it's natural. Okay. So, and porous. So using things like an abalone shell, okay, is really great. And that's got the holes in it. You can see the holes, and the holes let the smoke move in and out and the air move in and out. You can use something like a clamshell. Okay. You can use a terracotta plate that you put underneath your plants, a terracotta plant saucer. Just make sure that it's something that can breathe somehow or another, because if you use something like glass, it can be super dangerous, because when this heats up, it gets super hot. It's an ember. So when this heats up, what happens is that it can break and shatter the glass.
Oh, wow.
So you want to make sure that whatever you use is porous in some way, shape, or form. Okay. So what you do is you just put it in, you light it up. I'm not going to light it right now because I didn't bring a lighter. And then what I like to do is I like smudging my whole house. There are sometimes I just smudge my office, especially after I've done shadow work or something else like that there, because that's where the energy feels like it's the heaviest. So I want to make sure that I smudge the office, but I also smudge my entire house. And I like to start at the front door. So what I do is I light this, smoke is going. First, I put it over my head. I'd like to put it on my heart. Then I like to wash my hands with it, to make sure that my hands are clean when I do this. This is what I do when I do a soul piece painting too. And then I move clockwise. From the door, I move left, always left. You don't want to do counterclockwise. That's against nature. So you want to bring in that beautiful clockwise energy. Everything moves clockwise in nature, unless you live in Australia and then the water goes down the sink counterclockwise, but we're not in Australia, so forget it. So you start with your back to the door, and then you move clockwise around the room. And you can be as specific or as unspecific as you want to be, meaning you can open up every drawer, every cabinet, let the smoke get in there. You can go up in the corners. You can go, around the door in a circle, always clockwise. And, you can, as you're doing this, sometimes I just smudge, but sometimes I'll say a little motto or a little chant, like this clears out the energy of everything that's discordant in this house, nullifying it totally and completely as soon as the smoke touches it, or something else like that there. And then I move. Then I go into the next room, and I stand wherever the entrance is with my back to the entrance of wherever that room is. And I go clockwise if it's possible. You go as clockwise as you possibly can. Of course, if there's a wall right here, you have to get out from the wall and then start going clockwise. So you want to make sure you're going that way. So that's just a real simple way of doing it. You can do this and just shut all the windows and the doors until you're done doing it, and then open up all the windows and the doors to let the smoke out. But it's something, or you can, do it with the windows and the doors open. Some people are very sensitive to smoke, and they don't want it too much longer in the house, because as soon as the smoke starts going, it's clearing. So you don't have to really seal your house up totally and completely. You can use things like, so you can smudge with things like sage, cedar, sweetgrass. There's something called sweetgrass, which usually comes in a braid, and it's grass. It's long grass, and it's a braid. You can use Palo Santo wood, which is Spanish for holy wood, and that's got a really nice, almost like a cedary smell, but not too intense, like the cedar you put in your closet or something. It's not that intense. It's just got a very slight cedary smell. It's very nice. You can use so those are the herbals that you can use. You can use any kind of herbals if you want to. I mean, if you wanted to get like really creative and stuff, and there's a flower that you like, you can burn dried rose petals. Just make sure that, the container, you don't want the embers flying around. So you want to make sure that you guard the container so the embers don't fly around, because I don't want anybody's house catching on fire and then they blame me. Okay. I don't need that. I don't need that kind of energy. So, what was sickness, anger? I thought the sage was supposed to feel like that. Thanks for sharing. Oh, you're welcome, Sherry. Yeah, it's very, people don't know the difference. This sage, the Northern Plains sage, this sage is used by the Sioux Indians.
Oh.
And this is found in North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, out in the fields. When I would go out to Sundance with my adopted Sioux family, I would go out and they would do everything would have this sage, everything. We would do it in the Inipis. They would burn it in the Inipis. They would do it at Sundance. So they would wear these bracelets because it's very pliable. So what you can do is when it's wet, you can wrap it around your ankles. You can wrap it around your wrists. They would wear it on necklaces of it. It's a very sacred plant. But you would just find it out in the middle of the plains anywhere. And it's really beautiful. So it's a very sacred plant for the Sioux people. I like it. It's got a very light smell to it. I think it's got a very light smell to it. It's not as heavy as the white sage. But what you have to understand is sage. So understand that maybe, depending on how open people are, you might not want to do it before a job interview, because it does, to the untrained nose, smell like pot.
And in Washington, where I live, that's perfectly okay. Well, not really.
Well, depending on where you live, that's fine.
Yeah,
but
not if you're going
if not, you also don't want to get pulled over and the cop's like, what? And you have to say, oh, I just smudged myself. Yeah, sure.
I've got a question for you. The first one is, how do you know when the energy is bad? Is it something that you just innately feel? Is it what triggers you to know that you need to smudge your house when you've got negative energy?
If you're not sleeping well, if you're constantly waking up all the time and you're not sleeping, fully through the night, if you're having really, really strange dreams, I mean, off the charts, like weird, like a horse wearing pants or something like that, it's just, it's letting you know that the energy is kind of wonky. So you want to be able to have nice, relaxing energy. Also, if it's very violent dreams, and there's a lot of strong emotions in the dreams, yeah, I would definitely smudge your house. Also, what's going on with you in your life at this time? Are you really super busy? Are you really stressed? Are you, how's your relationships going? I want to answer those questions, so we're going to put those back up. Okay. And I want to see the one that she wrote about the animals.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
waiting for an opportune time.
Yeah, and Kayla's. If that is, I'm not saying it's the answer, the end all or the be all. I'm going to give you other things that maybe you can do to clear your house, but it's a strong indication that something is not right, because when you're sleeping, you're very receptive. Your conscious mind is in the back of the bus, and your unconscious mind comes forward, and you're very open and receptive. So if you're open and receiving and receptive, and that's when you're getting all your downloads and your visitations and your astral traveling and your dreams, you want to make sure that wherever you're sleeping, the energy in that room is receptive to you being receptive.
Gotcha. Well, let's pull up that question for you. Why do animals have seizures? Because my mother's poor dog, who's 5, gets them, and I'm trying to do my best with Reiki, but she's feeling defeated because it's not helping.
Yeah. It could be a lot of things, Kayla. I'll give you some examples. Okay. The shadow work, and if you want to go back and watch the show we did on the shadow work healing that I do, there's a lot of animals who are being affected by shadows, and it's stuck energy in their astral field. So what I do is I do techniques that I've developed, downloaded techniques that I developed that disperse them, as opposed to just shooting energy at it, because that's not going to help, because a lot of the times this energy that's stuck is there for a reason, and we need to dialogue with it and find out why it's there and kind of interview it and then channel those messages, because a lot of the times it's not negative stuff, it's just stuck energy. So a lot of the times it's they have messages that they're trying to relay that they stopped being able to relay because they lost connection to source energy, if that makes sense. So what happens is the stuck energy comes in, the energy entity comes in, a guide maybe or something else like that there, and it gets stuck and it keeps bouncing its head against the astral field wall. It gets trapped in there, and what happens is that it becomes discordant or stuck energy because of that. So it could be that. There could be something physical. I mean, really physical going on. The brain is shooting where it shouldn't be shooting. The neurons in the brain are firing wrong. It could be emotional. It could be spiritual. There are so many reasons around why an animal is having physical ailments, because animals are so tapped in to life in general and their stream of well-being. And if there's something going on, the physical in any being is usually the last bastion. Something's been going on a long time behind the scenes before that. So it could be a lot of different things. And I would know until I got in there and found out, because that's why my sessions now are so intensive. I do one session, the first session I start off with, I do the healing of the body. I do healing because I'm empathic, so I get a sense, and then I send it energy. I do the healing of the body, then I do the chakras, then I go to the auric field. And this is a typical healing will take anywhere between 90 minutes to 2 hours. It's no joke. So it could be a lot of stuff going on. That's behind the scenes. But I hope really and truly that your mom's dog gets better. And I'm sorry that they're going through.
And I just want to share with everyone that what you just described, that entire process you go through, was developed by Coryelle. authored by Coryelle and done by Coryelle, and there's nobody else that's even talks even in the same language as what you're talking about when you go through all of these steps.
I haven't, I might be wrong, but I have yet to meet anybody that's doing this healing work that I'm doing. It's super intense, and it takes a lot. It can take a lot out of you if you don't, because you're it's a lot. It's threefold healing. So yeah, it's pretty intensive. But there could be it could be that your mom's dog has got a message that they're trying to get, and you being an animal communicator, but it's hard to hear this stuff when you're invested in the answer. So if you're invested in the answer, you got to take a step back, and that's hard with your own animal, so it might be that you might have to contact another animal communicator or a speaker with animals, whatever, and find out what's going on. And it's nothing you're doing wrong. It's just when you got health issues going on, it's really hard to detach, because you're terrified of what the answer is going to be, and you think you know what the answer is going to be. So that's what I mean by when I say you're invested in the answer. So
because of that, and because of the work that you do and the shadow side and all the energy you work with, you need to probably clear your house more often than most people do, I would imagine.
yeah. Yeah.
So there's sage, and that's where we kind of left off. So
right.
How else would you?
So there's sage, cedar, Palo Santo wood. There's sweetgrass. There's dried rose petals. If you like roses, do what feels right. Just make sure you do it safely, because you're playing with fire, literally. So you want to make sure you don't mess up the house.
Okay? And if that gets on your skin, it'll stay there, and it will burn you pretty significantly, right?
It can be. I mean, I've burnt my fingers plenty of times. I mean, that's just comes with the program. You're like, oh well. So there's that. There's also other ways that you can clear your space. So, and I talked about this last week. So if you don't want to burn anything, there are things like clearing Spritzer. I got this from Rebecca'sHerbs.com. They make these, and they make them all. They're in Colorado. Wonderful place. Love this place. And they just put the ingredients in. They don't really put any additives in it, but there's like organic rose oil is in here. There's sage oil, cedar oil. There's frankincense. There's wild crafted myrrh. So what you can do is you just take this and you spritz yourself. It's a spritzer. So you just spritz it all over the place. If you wanted to do that, it smells very nice. I like that smell, so it's very nice. You can make your own if you got things like essential oils. So like Scentsy, grapefruit, any of the citrus is a great cleanser. Grapefruit, tangerine, lemongrass. I love lemongrass. Lemon, peppermint, anything like that is a very, very cleansing smell. So you just take a water bottle. You take a spray bottle, put some water in it, put some drops in it, and there you go. Spray it all over your house. Get it in the corners, and you can clear your space that way. There's also, there's flower essences. A crab apple is a cleansing essence. It cleanses the body. It's meant to cleanse the body of toxins. So this is why sometimes I prescribe it for animals who have eaten something that they shouldn't have, or someone they shouldn't have, and they're having a negative effect. It cleanses the body. Get some flower essences, crab apple, throw it in a spray bottle, and spritz your whole house up. Have some fun just spritzing all over the place. There's those things. So there's ways that you can work with it. It's endless. You can take a crystal, like this is a quartz crystal point.
Holy crap! How much did that cost?
Oh God, I don't remember. It wasn't that expensive. I call her Big Mama.
That makes sense.
But if you wanted to take the crystal, I got to make sure. Hang on. Whoops. Okay. So what you want to do is you're going to take the crystal, take the point up, out, and then start doing around the house like you would start, and just set your intention, and or channel your energy through the crystal that promotes in your mind clearing, healing, safety, security, abundance, whatever you want to do. And you want to infuse the crystal with that, and you just want to shoot that out. Again, I would always go clockwise, or you could just stand in the middle of the room and just do it that way. You could do it with crystals. Music. I love music. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of music. I have so many playlists on Spotify, it boggles the mind. For everything from, crystal singing bowl music to these special beats that you can listen to that work at different frequencies, to Arab music, to African music, to whatever, and use that energy. If there's a kind of music that you like listening to that represents clearing for you, put that sucker on, see what happens. So
a lot about what you're talking about is intention, more so. Is using sage and are they just kind of tools that help you focus your intention?
They can be, but I have this belief, and belief, what you believe, you achieve. So right. I have this belief around sage, and what it is, this sage is sacred to me. So when I use it, this is why I use it when I, smudge my stuff for the soul piece paintings that I do and everything. It to me, my belief in that it's clearing and it's sacred is about that. Then the intention is the words that I use when I smudge. I'm clearing the space, it clears the smoke, touches every single thing in this room, and clears it and nullifies every single thing in this room of anything that's discordant. I don't like using the word negative, because there are negative ions. There are some things that are good that are negative. So discordant energy, chaotic energy. I don't like living in chaos. Some people do, not me. So I smudge my house and my office at least once a week. Sometimes more. It depends on what's going on. Sometimes less. It depends on what's going on.
It's just part of your ritual of doing your business, right?
Yeah, it is. I feel like it's keeping me tuned up. It's keeping me in a tuned up vibration, so that I can be the most effective I can be for my clients. That's my goal.
I have a question for you, my dear. Yeah. If you've had a bad day and you're depressed or you're angry, and you come home and you want to kick the dog, but you love the dog, so you don't kick the dog, but you're still angry and stuff, is smudging a good way for you to refocus yourself and clearing your head as well as your surroundings, if you've had a bad day?
I think that's a great question, and I don't see why not. You're usually having a bad day because you feel disempowered. When we feel disempowered by our work, by our whatever, by our boss, by whatever, we have a tendency to feel like we're powerless, and that's a really, really low vibration to be in. So the powerlessness is actually lower than depression. I know it doesn't feel like it, but I promise you it is. Okay. It's the lowest you can feel. So if you do things to empower yourself, like you got to send the crystal, you got to use Big Mama, or you got to use Big Daddy, or whatever you want to call your big ass crystals. You're taking your power back in your day. You're taking your day back. There's a saying I love, and it's like, you can always restart your day. At any time during the day, you can always restart your day. So using things to make you feel like, okay, I'm all right. I'm all right. Whether that's singing in the shower like I did this morning or whatever, taking your power back. Don't let stupid little things take away your happiness. It's not, how important is it? So what you're going to do is just do things to empower yourself to make you feel good.
Yes. And because there's so much in our world that is out of our control, but this is something that you can do that you
Yeah.
are in total control over.
Yes.
And nobody can screw with you. Nobody can choose. And I was going to say a bad word right there, but
I do that all the time.
nobody can fuck with you when you are in that space, and then you can then regain your power and retake your power over.
You can. And this is, it's fun stuff to also show your kids how to take their power back after they've had a bad day in school. Yes, they're going back to school, so this is healthy ways of thinking that you can give to your kids and pass on to the next generation. Wouldn't it be great if your kid grew up knowing about smudging and then he can, I'm not saying a little baby kid could, you don't want a kid smudging. He's probably better with the spray. Okay. But what I'm saying is, because you don't want kids playing with matches and fire and all this kind of stuff, please don't send me emails about your kid doing that. But it's a nice, healthy way of being that makes them feel like they're taking their power back. They're feeling better, So we got music. And speaking of music, there's things like singing bowls. This is a crystal singing bowl. Okay, it's made from quartz crystal, solid piece of quartz crystal. Okay, and you hit it, and there you go. You hit it and you feel better. You do this if you wanted to. You hit I usually hit the 4 directions on my singing bowl. And then I go and stand in the middle of the room and that's it. You don't have to roll it. If you want to, you can roll it, but you don't have to. And singing bowls come in different ways. They come in metal. I have a metal one with Buddhas in it. Buddha. So, and this one's got, they all got different sounds. This one's more grounding. The bigger the bowl, the more deeper the sound it's going to be. So the smaller the bowl, that's why these small little singing bowls, sound like they're very high. I personally don't like them, but that's okay. You might. Gongs, chimes, get wind chimes and put them out. I have yet to find a pair of wind chimes that I like that don't annoy me, so I don't do that. But if it works for you, because that sound is going to constantly be, and you don't have to get them inside your house. You can get the wind chimes right outside your door or something like that there.
How about drumming?
Drumming's great. Drumming's great. I don't have a drum, but drumming's great.
If you live in an apartment, it's a little hard to have a drum.
Yeah, again, I never found a drum that called to me yet.
And there's also that musical instrument out of Australia. Did you
didgeridoo?
There it is. That's what it was. Yeah, some people use that too.
You can do that. I don't have space for a didgeridoo. Yeah. Those didgeridoos are didgeridoo for me. I can't do that. It's just like, I have no space for that thing. Are you kidding? It needs its own. It's so big. It needs its own zip code. I don't know. So there's different things that you can do. And again, it's all about whatever feels right for you. Customize it. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to take all this suggestion. Find something that you like. Something that, I love this lemongrass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of it. I'm going to mark a special mark on every door in my house or whatever. I mean, like I said, customize it and make your own. That's where the power comes in. That's where the magic happens. If you find something, if you want to use a big ass crystal and then use the crystal singing bowl, go for it. There's also other things that you can do. If that I've been in houses that the energy was so bad. This was back a while ago. The energy, they hired me to clear the energy in some houses. I've been in some houses that the way that I could only clear the energy in that place was to get a spray bottle, fill it with a couple of drops of ammonia, and spray the corners and the cracks and everything in that place, because the energy was so ooky. It might have been somebody died there, somebody was murdered, I've been in, abandoned insane asylums where I had a spray bottle of ammonia, because that's really heavy, but that's really heavy duty stuff. And, I don't recommend that in a home with kids or pets or anything else like that there. But
you got commissioned to go clear out an insane asylum?
No, I did. I used to work with, sorry, I used to work with paranormal detectives.
Oh, okay.
So they would need a psychic. So I would go in, and one of the places I went into was an abandoned insane asylum. And I sure as hell wasn't going in there without some serious backup and some serious arsenal, So that's where I used it to, just we spraying around different places we were in, cleansing. If we were in a certain room, cleansing that room with that, things like that there. Yeah.
So how do you convince people that think that that lady's nuts? That clearing is a good thing, and that energy exists. And can you even go there, or is that just not even worth? I mean, can you package it in a way? Because like the Sioux used it as an everyday fact of life.
Every single day. Every
Yeah.
single day. I did my Humblecha, my Vision Quest. We had that. Everything was there was sage all around me during that time, in different kinds of bundles and things like that there, and the prayer flags and the whole 9 yards. I can't convince anybody of anything. But my thing is, what do you got to lose? You want to stay in the Ookie energy? That's fine. You have free will, baby. If you want to stay in Ookie energy and wonder why your life isn't getting better and why you're not happy and why you're stuck in the same rut you've been in, that's your prerogative. That is fine with me. Okay. But I would say to you, really, what do you have to lose? How's it working for you staying in that energy? Are you happy?
How's it working so far?
Are you happy? Are you sleeping good? Are are your animals happy? Are you sick?
How's your marriage, by the way?
How's your relationships, your friendships?
Yeah.
Uh,
So this can be a very inexpensive way for you to, number one, as Susan congratulated you for saying, taking your power back, and using this to really be who you really are, and to get back to the way you were, rather than to let the world dictate your energy level by how heavy it is,
mhm.
because it can be pretty heavy at times.
It can be. It can be. But if you keep your space clear and cleansed, then it's going to be your sanctuary, And I don't see how it can be such a jump if you don't clean your house, physically clean your house, you're going to probably end up on an episode of Hoarders, because it's going to be a crap fest. Okay. So why would it be such a huge jump to think that the energy, we've all walked into a room, we've all had this experience of walking into a party, and within 2 seconds if that party is kicking or that party is shit. And that's the energy. You're feeling the energy in the room. So Why is it such a leap to think, oh, this is too woo woo? It's just, it's not. You find something that works for you that your mind feels good with, whether it's a singing bowl or whether it's chimes or a gong or a drum or just putting on some nice relaxing music and clearing that space. It doesn't matter what it is. It's endless. The possibilities are endless. You can just get a water feature, just get a fountain in your house. That nice water energy sounding, that's beautiful energy that you're bringing in there. And why do you think people get fountains? It's not because it's not only just because it looks pretty and it's like, well, it was on sale at Walmart. It's I want to bring that energy into my house. That's what people usually say. I want to bring that water energy into my house or into my garden or whatever. So it's not that much of a leap. It really isn't.
Well, isn't it kind of like taking a part of your house as an example? When I first started talking to you and doing this podcast, this was all at my dining room table. And so there was lots of activity and it was light and all this stuff. Well, so I dedicated a space. I now have what I call a professionally done studio. It makes what I do different than it used to be.
It takes it to a whole new level. Absolutely. Exactly. It's the difference between, energetically, I have my office space. It's not huge, but it's an office space that I know when I walk into this part, and it's all my living room, my office is all in one room. But when I walk into this part, I'm here to work. I'm here to do my job. So it makes me feel better. So it's just a play, as opposed to just like taking my laptop and going to sit on my bed, and doing a session that way. It's not professional to me. If it feels professional to you, it feels professional to you. That's great. I need a visual aid to let me know this is my job.
Yep.
This is my work.
Because every time I walk into my studio, it's like, I'm not here to play. This is work time and stuff. And it feels better. It feels much more alive, much more in alignment with my intentions.
Right. And you're taking what you're doing seriously. In my opinion, you're taking it to another level. So energetically, like I said last week, there are things that you can do. It doesn't have to be like do what I did, which was totally and completely 6 hours of rearranging my entire living room and office. It doesn't have to be that manic. I wasn't manic when I did it, but you know what I mean.
You were tired when you were done, though, weren't you?
I was tired, but I felt good. I felt like now I have that space. That feels really good. This feels really good. It just all works for me. You can just, like I said, just like maybe bring in some crystals, maybe rearrange stuff, maybe clear up some clutter. That all changes the energy. It's not a big deal. It's like, this is why I'm like, I don't see where there's this big jump. If you clear your room or you clear your house or you clear out the closet, you always feel better. Why do you think that is? It's because you're taking out that stuff that gives you not such good feeling energy and you're donating it or you're throwing it out or whatever. You're giving it to your cousin because she's got ookie energy and you don't really see her that often. So there you go. Here's a box of clothes. You can have those. So it's not that big of a leap. It really isn't. Just thinking about it, it's not woo-woo. It's not anything other than common sense.
No, and energy. And if you want to talk about Einstein and energy, he made it very clear that energy is here and it never dies and it changes. But you can have bad energy and you can have good energy, and it's all the intention that you put out there.
Yep.
And that's why I swear to God that when we first met, and I said this woman is special. The energy that you had way back then was powerful. The energy you have now is off the chart, and you're not even done yet. It's frightening.
I don't know. I'm not done. No, every single time I think, okay, well, I'm going to just work with this little stuff right now. The universe is like, no, you're not. Here's some more. Here's
But
another opportunity. And I'm like, okay.
and it's because you're open to it. You're allowing the opportunities that come to you, and you're downloading them, and you're accepting them, and you're putting them into practice. Who the person I feel sorry for is your executive assistant, who is working night and day to keep up with you.
She's not doing that bad. She's doing good. She can handle it. Karen's amazing. She can handle anything. She's awesome.
Yeah. So Coryelle, if somebody wanted to work with you, how do they do it?
They have to contact me either through Facebook. They can send me a message through Facebook, or they can go to my website and fill out a contact form, either working with animals or with people. There's 2 different contact forms because there's 2 different kinds of questions. And then we'll take it from there. I can do a possibility call with them where I go into much more detail about what I'm going to do, because it's a lot. So, and prepare for that call to be a while, because that call is anywhere between an hour to an hour and a half, especially if the person, depending on what's going on. So it's good. It's really, really good. And people are usually, excited and happy. And I mean, I've raised my prices 7 times since August.
Normally
Because
people wouldn't bring that up.
tell me, yes. And that usually is an indication that it's time to, okay, let's go to the next level. Let's go to the next level. Because I'm also adding more stuff into my repertoire. What I started off with in August 2020 is what I was doing then is not even close to what I'm doing now. It's transformed. So it's much more intense in a good way. And it's much more powerful. So I'm giving you a lot. Okay, a lot. I give you a lot in all my sessions. I give you everything I have almost.
Well, and a couple things. First of all, if you want to find out more about what she does, you can go to some podcasts, because we've done the erotic blueprints, and we've done the animal
Dynamics.
Thank you very much. I came up with the word and I can't even remember it. The animal dynamics. So there's like 10 of them or 11 of them, and some of them are for adults only. If you are BDSM, or there's a gentleman. By the way, I have to tell you, the Orpheus. I did a podcast with him. That was a very enlightening experience for me. So yeah, I invite you to go listen to that, and then then give her a call, and oh, and by the way, I do want to make sure that everybody knows, because I'm not sure she was going to say it, but I'll say it for her, and that is during this process there is homework.
Yes,
there is work that you have to do.
Absolutely.
And if you don't do it, you're wasting your time and you're wasting her time. So it's an important, it can be a life. I believe it's a life-changing event, and it can be if you take it seriously.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that we don't have fun. We absolutely
Of course
have
you do.
But the home play, because I hate the word homework. So the home play is your responsibility. I expect you to do it before the next session, because I can't do it for you. I can't do everything for you. I get what I get. I tell you what to do, and you better damn well do it.
If whatever your issue is, if you want to get past that issue, you need to do the work.
Right.
And that's just how it is. So anything that we've come to another, these go by so fast. Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close today?
The only thing I want to add is just experiment. see what works, see what doesn't. Have fun with it, and just do it. Just do it, and do it regularly. You don't have to do it like every week like I do, but put it on your calendar so you do it. You might want to do it during the full moon, or you might want to do it at the new moon, or you want to do it at the half moon. I don't care. Do it whatever you want to, but make it something that is important, because it is.
And I just have to say this because you do this to me all the time. You gave me a couple of weeks ago. You gave me another saying to use that I had no idea what it meant, even though I've known it for 40 years. And of course, the first one was when it was your kitty's last day on this planet before he transitioned, and he turned around and looked at you and said, "No regrets." We all need to live our lives and not have any regrets at the end of the day. On that last day, don't regret a thing. And the other one was that the movement you need is on your shoulder, and that comes from Hey Jude, and nobody knew really what that was about, but I'll tell you what it was about. The movement you need if you want to change your life, if you want to do something better for yourself. All you have to do is look at your shoulder, because that's where your guides are, and that's where everybody's there that's there designed to help you. So the movement you need is right there in front of you. And that's you taught me that. You gave me those, and I thank you for that.
I'll give you another one for this one.
Okay.
Smudge yourself before you wreck yourself.
That's a t-shirt.
That's a t-shirt.
I'd like to.
You're welcome. I'm glad that you took PC's her little message. That means a lot.
It's awesome because how many people I've heard from hospice people and hospital people that when they're sitting there talking to somebody who is on their deathbed, most of the time it's not about the work that I did, it's not about what I accomplished, it's the regrets that they have, the things that they left on the table that they had the opportunity to do and they didn't take it.
Yep.
And it was a sad thing. Coryelle Kramer, I want to thank you very much. And go talk to her. CoryelleKramer.com. That's where you
Thanks
go.
Everyone for joining.
Hey, and thanks for listening to this episode all the way to the end. Hey, pretty cool. Hey, don't forget to follow us so you can receive regular updates and new posts. And remember, take care of each other, because each other's all we've got. See you next time on My Independence Report.